Welcome, and thank you for tuning in to the Indigenous Prosperity Podcast. Through this podcast, we seek to amplify voices that support truth and reconciliation and Indigenous-led economic development within the South Island region. Today, we're joined by Alex Jones, Project Coordinator for Songhees Marine. Welcome, Alex. I invite you to introduce yourself.
Thank you. My name is Awaskum. I am a Songhees Lakota Nation member. My traditional name is Awaskum, and my borrowed name is Alex Jones. I am coming to you from the Lakota territory today.
Thank you, Alex. And I'm wondering, did you spend time on the water as a child?
I spent plenty of time on the water. My late grandfather, Wilson Little, was a fisherman, and I spent many years throughout Vancouver Island and off the coast fishing. Not only fishing, I was part of the canoe club, 4 canoe races.
Oh, you did the canoe racing. That's cool. Do your kids do that?
No. To be honest, they're not fish people.
Yeah. So I'm wondering, is that what made you interested when you saw that Songhees posted the positions for starting up the marine project? Was that childhood time spent on the ocean with your family partly what drew you to it?
What brought me to Songhees Marine Project Coordinator was wanting to bring myself to the community to show them and show me that what I can bring forward to the future and have the marine and sea life available for my children and grandchildren.
So important. When did the Songhees Marine Project get started?
Chief Ron Sam started the project back in 2020, and he ran it for just under a year, I believe. And in 2021, April 1st, I came aboard with Songhees.
So how many people are on the team?
With the Songhees Marine team, we have two boat operators, a marine biologist, and a marine monitor. So there's 4 of us, and there's 5 of us right now. And we are currently building our team as we speak today.
How often do you get out on the water?
Not as much as my team does. I would roughly say probably once, twice a week.
I get to follow members of your team on Facebook, and like, here's our office today. It's a picture of them out on the ocean. It's pretty wonderful to see.
Yeah, they were out today. They were out today doing trying to do the European green crab monitoring.
I've heard about that.
Yeah.
And I've heard that there's lots of uses for green crab. If you harvest it, it can be used it can be even sold. It's a commodity.
Yeah.
There's interesting economic development around green crab.
Yeah, there's quite a few different uses for it. Unfortunately, they kill our Indigenous crab population. They eat the crab eggs.
And they don't have any natural predators here, probably.
No.
Which is why we need to be the predator for the green crab. Get them out of there.
European green crab, where if you were to sit there and take the time and take out all the meat, you probably won't even get a quarter of a Ritz cracker full of meat.
So what other things is the Songhees Marine team working on?
Well, we are trying to bring back our herring run to our community, into our traditional territories. Back in March, April, our team had set out branches in the gorge, Cosapson Park, Victoria Harbor, and just off of Lagoon, trying to bring back the herring run and herring eggs to our community again. And the other projects we're working on is European green crab and coastal erosion.
I understand that's a serious problem at the Songhees Islands, Clichess, isn't it?
Yeah,
Especially with increased shipping.
Yeah, on Chatham and Discovery Island, the tide lines and the erosion lines are pretty strong, and we're losing inches year by year.
Wow, that's important work to do. And a question about the you mentioned the putting branches in the water. Is that so that the herring will lay their eggs on them?
Yes.
Because I think I've seen pictures of herring rakes, old-fashioned rakes. So they're like a stick with pegs in it. So branches is like is a version of a herring rake.
Yeah, that's exactly what the branches were that were set out, was so the herring can spawn their eggs on there. And like the pictures you've probably seen on social media, there's probably like millions of eggs on a branch. Can feed the community, feed our elders.
One time somebody brought some dried herring eggs into the band office, and they called it chummus. It's a treat. So I wanted to try it, but they gave me a piece of it, but they didn't tell me how you prepare it. So I'm chewing away on this chunk of dried herring roe, and it was very hard to chew. And then afterwards, somebody told me, you're supposed to boil it, soften it up before you eat it.
Supposed to boil it, soften it up, dip it in butter.
Oh, that sounds good. But it was neat to taste. And it's herring is also food for the fish that are food for the whales, isn't it? So you're protecting the whales when you're trying to improve their the food sources. Yeah. And I noticed too around that herring that you held a community event to celebrate the herring. That's wonderful.
Yes, back in April we had a huge send off of we invited our nation, our members, our community members, and they all took part on setting up and laying their own branches. They got to put their strength and their blessings, I would want to call it, into helping bring it back to the community. So they all came together, had a big gathering down at Cosapson Park over here on Craigflower, and Admirals and our boat operators, the Maple Bank Elders canoe family kindly lent the Songhees Marine Team their canoe so our guys can paddle out and drop the branches off into the gorge for us. So it was a huge thing, huge deal for us, right?
Yeah, and for the children to witness that, and this become maybe a normal part of their life, to grow up knowing about how you work with the herring.
We had elders there, share their stories, share their times. Just seeing the excitement on our elders that got up and spoke. It was like they really want this to come back, and they, we want to cherish their cherish their heart and nourishment, right? We want to bring back that food for them.
Yes, and it's wonderful to be able to connect the elders sharing the stories from when they're young and what their memories about herring, and with children from Songhees today, getting to learn about that from them directly is really wonderful. So it was a very cool event, and I hope that it happens every year. I remember one time many years ago, Jackie Albany saying to me that it was hailing. I think it was like February or March, and it was hailing. And she said, "Oh, I always learned if it hails this time of year that the herring are going to run." Have you ever heard that about hail and herring?
Yeah. The run for me growing up in the Lekwungen territory, I spent majority of my time with my cousins on Craigflower Bridge fishing for herrings between end of February to April. Right after school, before school, we'd be out there casting our rods trying to get herrings.
I guess some people probably use the herring for bait.
Yes.
But would you be looking, were you using it for bait back then, or were you using it to harvest the herring?
Using it to harvest. My late grandmother, she would always fry it. or dry it.
Not where it gets on chamas. I think that might be a new Chalmers word for a snack.
For
Sweet.
dessert, yes.
Yeah.
Hummus, yeah. We use that term here too.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember hearing it like back in the early 90s as it's one
Yeah.
of those shared words.
Yeah, hummus, yeah.
Yeah. What do you enjoy most about your work?
My work family. We got a great crew here. We work as one. We work together. That's what I like. And being able to come into work and knowing that you have a great crew and a great team that's got your back is what brings me here every day, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's such important work that's being done.
Yes.
So what are your goals for the future of the Songhees Marine project?
What are my goals or what are our goals?
Well, both.
I don't really want to say my goals because we work together and we talk, we discuss, and for the entire crew is just to bring back the sea life to our community, bring back the shellfish, bring everything back together so our elders can nourish their hearts and their soul with crabs, mussels, oysters, clams,
Yes.
and bringing everything together for the community is our goal and our project and our plan.
I think that would help reduce, like I know that for Indigenous Canadians, diabetes is at 5 times the national average, and that has a lot to do with diet. So bringing back seafood diet, I think would be really good for people.
Bringing back the seafood diet the traditional way, I think would be a tremendous goal to set to get rid of diabetes.
Yeah. And you mentioned earlier that you have a marine biologist on your team, and I know that that the other nations under the Sailor Sea Initiative funding have hired marine biologists, and many of them are they're students from the University of Victoria. And I find it very interesting that that there are these marine biologists embedded into Indigenous marine teams. How are you finding that working with a marine biologist? What does that bring to the table?
Oh, working. Our marine biologist, her name is Bridget Irving, and she came aboard, I want to say back in September, and working with her has been a great deal. She has a lot on her mind, and she has a lot of goals that she wants to bring forward to the community. She was born and raised, I believe, in Chemainus, so she has the knowledge of going to school with First Nations, so she knows what respects that we have and she has for the waters, and that's what brought her into the biologist life. And
That's when you get Indigenous knowledge with academic knowledge, and it really is an interesting. I find that there's some really interesting work coming out of that.
yeah,
When you bring Indigenous wisdom to the the academic understanding of things, it creates a whole other layer of understanding that I think that the scientists find really meaningful for them to connect and to understand the relationship Indigenous people have and
yeah,
the understandings that are there that run deeper than maybe science can measure.
yeah.
That relationship piece. Um, is there anything else that you'd like our audience to know about Songhees Marine or Indigenous marine stewardship? This wonderful work that's being done in the Sailor Sea here by Indigenous people to take care of the sea and take care of your territory. Any other thoughts you want to leave with folks?
We're doing two of my team just got back from Ottawa. They were over there for a guardianship conference, Guardians, and they brought back a lot of learning experience and learning curve for all. And we just look forward of working together with the community and with the other nations out there Sayout, Aquachin, Malahat, Esquimalt. We just look forward to coming together, working as a team.
And I want to thank you for your leadership in that way. And we've got some projects we're collaborating with the nations on for marine stewardship and raising awareness. And you've been a real leader in helping to make that happen. And I appreciate that. This is something people need to know about this work that's happening. It's really important for all of us in this, all of us who live next to the Salish Sea. Matters.
Salish Sea, yes. I like to call it the traditional highway.
Yes. Yeah, it's wonderful to be back on the water and engaging with other nations. And these are ancient trade relationships.
Yes, exactly.
That can be revitalized for the benefit of everyone, because really the Indigenous knowledge coming to the table around conservation, preservation is really helpful, I think, for, as we move towards sustainable future. Changing our relationship with the environment is necessary for us to survive as a species, I think. Yeah. And I think that Indigenous wisdom around relationship to the land and working with the land instead of hurting it for economic development is extremely important. That's kind of why I work in the field I work in, is just to help promote that.
Yeah, exactly.
Important work.
Yeah, we need land guardians, and we need ocean guardians.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you for the work you do. Thank you for being out there on the Salish Sea, and thank you to your crew as well. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
And thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
And thank you, listeners, for tuning in to the Indigenous Prosperity Podcast.